Milton Daily Homes, Chuck here, and if you're wondering why the angles are a little different, there's a flood over there, and so I ended up having to move the office over a little bit, but it is what it is. So let's get to today's list of 25 properties. First one up is 292 Wilson, number 2, and it's at 229.9. And so inside, beautiful kitchen, IKEA cabinets, the exposed brick I think looks really terrific. You've got some natural stained wood there. It's on a baseboard heat. So the thing about baseboard heat, the reason why people don't like it is because it can get expensive. If you run it continuously, it can really drive your bills up. Now you can put them on thermostats. You can turn them on only when you're going to be in that room. And I have heard certain people that have actually lowered their bills compared to gas, but you have to be really on top of things. And for some people, the management of that system can just be stressful and annoying. So overall, it looks pretty good though. I think the price is fair. We've got this one on Wilson here, 239.5, and so you're getting some upgrades here. You've got a gas fireplace, plus you have a gas fired hot water tank down below, and you've got a nice looking kitchen here too. Maybe not quite as nice as the previous, but it's a little bit bigger. And then you also back onto a park, and you've got a pool in this complex as well. So I think they both compare reasonably well. I think they've both slotted into probably the right price range. This one on Sire at 348.9. Now keep in mind, I thought that there was one that maybe wasn't even as nice as this one on Laurier that recently just went up for 375, sold very quickly. Beautiful floors on this one. You may back onto Derry. It says it's on the south side of the street. But overall, this has a very impressive value offering, and I really believe that these guys sold themselves short when listing. I think that they could have listed for a lot higher, and this is someone selling their house on their own. I think even if you added agent fees on top of this, they'd still be in a fair range. So it's fine that you save some money on agent fees, but ultimately it's how do you get the most money in your pocket? And I don't know if they got the right advice or anything like that. It looks too good to be true. Now, you can still bring an agent in on something like that. Same with this one on Challenor. They're acting as their own listing agent. This one, I think they made an error on, I wouldn't say an error. We have to be cautious because it's all subjective. But I don't know if people are ready for one over 350. We've just started to see these models, the 3-story Mattamy ones, just start pushing past 340. And even before that, you could buy these last year for 320, 325 easy. So I just think that the appreciation probably isn't there, and you're in a whole new search category the minute you move past 350. Your audience changes, and they're expecting, I think, a little bit more of a 2-story with a yard. So their traffic is going to go down significantly from being at 353. Betting their goal is probably to try and hit 350. It would be a big surprise to me if it happened. Chutch Match 365, 888. It's an Emery. It's 1370 square feet. I think most people looking at this would probably wish that it was stainless steel appliances. It's just how the world tends to work right now. But I think this one seems to have pretty good value. I mean, for the location, this is on the north side of Chutch Match, so you don't have some of that stuff on the south that we talked about earlier this week, where you're probably backing on to the new Sobeys that's going to be put in there. It's still a good price for this model at 365. Kingsley Court is 379. And you look at this one, it's a 2-bedroom bungalow, but it has a garage. Most of them are 3-bedroom bungalows that are a little bit bigger, but they don't always have the garage. So is that a price trade-off? Possibly. I think that's their idea when they were pricing this one. And it's kind of original, but if you could get in here and do some work in it and $25,000, still keep yourself under $400, I think you're in a good place. And it's got a beautiful private lot too, 50 by 125. Now, the one thing that I might be concerned about, it's still on oil heat, so that's something you'd probably be looking at converting. Budget on that is probably somewhere around $5,000. You might have extra costs to get rid of the oil tank and all the rest of it. So anyhow, looks good though. Lavery Heights 384.9. Back to townhouses in the new area, and I think this one comes in pretty strong. I think it's got nice features. I think actually the kitchen cupboards and the paint do kind of match each other well, and Yeah, it's probably in the right range, I think, for what you're getting. Costigan is at $399. The upgrade on here is the finished basement. And the floor plans on these ones are okay. They just, to me, seem long and narrow. But I think that it looks like they've put a lot of care into this home. I'm not a big fan of seeing the buildings too close to me, and you can see the Costigan buildings just not too far away. Scott Boulevard is a Westgate corner. It's about 17 and change square feet. It's a townhouse. An end unit's got a nice floor plan. I think the finishes look good. It's always harder to sell a vacant house, and it's been out for a little while. I believe this one's probably right across from the school. 424.9 might be a little high on this one. Jelinek 439. It's 1382 square feet. It is a detached home, and so you walk in the front door. That's what this hallway leads to. So you're standing in the dining room, and you can see there's a family room and a kitchen just behind here. That's probably the stairs to the basement, and if they ordered the option, then there may be a potential to put a doorway into the garage from right there. Okay, so there's your family room, there's your kitchen. It's a nice floor plan. It's got a little nook upstairs for a computer desk and a little shameless plug to click over to the virtual tour. There's not a lot of detached under 450 right now, so they're probably going to benefit from the scarcity in the market. 459 for a 3-story detached here with no backyard, but a 2-car garage, and it's nice inside. I just think, if you look at some of the other ones on like McGurn, for example, directly facing the park, and not that much different in the upgrades. I just think that these guys are probably a little bit high. Cedar Hedge 460. It's a Wyndham corner. It looks like it's got kind of like a black and white traffic light here. It is about 1850 square feet, and nothing crazy inside. I think that it's stable. They've put a bit of upgrading on the outside of this one, and at 460 it's not a bad price. August 23rd is the date they quote, and usually when that date is quoted, it has special meaning and incentive for the sellers. They probably have a next step. So if you can give that to them as a buyer, maybe you get some help somewhere else. So Hood Terrace is 5089, 2230 square feet. It's a Thistle Bay, and so you've got a separate living room plus a dining room here, kitchen and family on the main floor, and kind of a bow window, California shutters, and yeah, the hardwood landing upstairs. It's all right to me. It's probably right in the range where it should be given past sales. Megan Way is at 514, so this one's a couple hundred square feet smaller, and it looks like it's got a pie-shaped lot in the back, so a bit of a premium in the back. And 514.9, I would seriously consider looking at more than just a single car garage. Now obviously the lot is going to help these guys, but yeah, I would really, once you start hitting a certain point, the double garages really start bumping and start making a glass ceiling. Donnelly 548, a single car garage, a Powell model, and it backs onto a busy street, right? Like it's got a walkout basement, but you have this huge, like 12-foot fence. Your yard feels like a prison yard to me, and you've got 2-car parking in the driveway. But I just don't see this one at 548. I think the numbers should probably start with a 4 in the beginning. Savaline is at 549.9. Looks like I think the Royal Fern model, 2047 square feet, hardwood floor, granite counters. Probably a little higher than what most Royal Ferns have sold for, but we haven't seen a whole lot of them in the last month or two. Donnelly is at 574. It's a 2-car garage, finished walkout basement, 2330 square feet. It's looking good on paper to me. It looks like it's certainly in an attractive price range. Let's see what it looks like when the photos come in. And so even though I don't have the photos when I review the video, if you check the link, that's a real-time updated. So when the photos are loaded, within 2 minutes, they're right in that link. So it's right at the bottom of the little paragraph below the video. Now Jelinek is at 579. And so you look at the floor plan here, it kind of looks like a Plan 6, so 2,300 square feet, but it's a little hard to tell from some of the angles. And you probably have some building happening behind this one. $579. If it is a Plan 6, probably a little high, but not that far off. Nairn Circle, 614.8, it's about 2,600 square feet, and you still have to put your appliances. I talk about this all the time. Someone's giving you $600,000, invest $5,000 in some decent appliances, and at least make it move-in ready. Make it seem like something that they'd want to just bring their furniture and move right in. So it looks like a bit of a shinier floor. Double sinks in the master is always a smart upgrade. The walkout basement would probably add between $5,000 and $10,000, and there's some green space behind, which adds some value. You figure this model for this size with decent upgrades is probably sort of $570, $580, and then you add the walkout green space. It seems pretty reasonable to me, and you're probably buying this one off assignment, so you may have to use builder forms on this one. Yates is a Huxley model, so about 2,400 square feet. $629 is the price, a little higher than most. I love that barbecue on the outside. It looks absolutely magnificent. And there's some nice upgrades inside the home too. It's one of my favorite floor plans, and you've got a good looking outside on this one too. So we've seen, last couple months, we've seen that model, maybe not with that kind of backyard, but that model with a finished basement go around $6. So they might be a touch high. Cousins, $639. Mannington Corner, it's got a nice little sort of communal area upstairs where the kids could have video games or do their homework or anything else. Balcony off to the side. If it's nice inside, they might have a chance, but you know, if it's just average, I think they're probably a little bit high. 90 Main Street, this one has a couple different areas. It's got an office in the back, living area. I think there's another separate area upstairs. So there's a few, this one's broken up into a few different spaces. $649 is the price. It actually looks like, I mean, that's a lot of home. If they've done good mechanicals, if they've really upgraded this one well from a functional perspective, the house is big enough that I think the money is that they're asking is quite reasonable. And Yates Drive is at $679, and it's a 47 by 81 foot lot. It doesn't say what model it is. Granite counters, hardwood floors, even hardwood in the master, hardwood in the den upstairs. $150,000 in upgrades, and we know that doesn't always mean that, you know, that it's going to add 150 to the home. So it kind of looks like a Vanderwood to me based on the room sizes, but we'll have to wait and see. This one on Amos is $989 triple car garage. They can appear very dated. You look at how much they would have spent just in landscaping this place. Huge deck here. They don't get the money back, so you benefit as a buyer. It's like buying a used car and getting all the sunroof and the leather seats and everything that someone else paid for almost for free. It is one of the biggest one of the lots in the subdivision, one of the biggest ones. The neighbor has a really big piece of property here too. Lots of trees in the back. That's 15 side roads, so you back onto it, but I think the house is far enough away that you probably wouldn't need to worry. So 6.63 acres with the house, even if it needs a little bit of work. If it's in decent shape in terms of being maintained, you have a lot of value. This is the kind of home you move in, you can stay in for a really, really long time. I'm a big fan of that listing. And the same thing as that $350 price point I talked about with the townhouse being under $1 million is completely different than being above $1 million from a search perspective, from the buyer's mentality. So that was a good move too. Twist Road, 2.2, 131 acres. And it's basically being sold as land, and so it works out to be about $16,000 an acre or something like that, a little bit more than that, which to me seems a little bit high, but I don't claim to be an expert on farms or that kind of stuff. Maybe it depends on the amount of crop or something like that. Anyhow, it is what it is. That's on Twist Road, and there's your episode, 25 properties, and I am out of here. Have yourself a great day. If you want to come see us, talk about your plans, talk about buying a home, selling a home, that's what we're here for, to offer good advice, to help you out, and really keep you safe. So have a great day.